Launch.
Hello. Early Sunday morning, at least 15 people were shot dead in a bar in Soweto, South Africa. According to police, some unknown gunmen armed with rifles and 9mm pistol entered the Orlando East Tavern and indiscriminately opened fire at a group of young people. The shooters later fled the scene in a white minibus. Most of the victims were between 9 and 35 years old. Those injured were taken to nearby hospitals for treatment. Gauteng's province's head of police, Lieutenant General Elias Mawela, told the BBC the shootings appear to have been a cold-blooded attack on innocent tavern patrons. While police are searching for the shooters in the southeastern province of KwaZulu-Natal, another tavern shooting on Sunday left 4 dead. While shootings related to gang activities are common in South Africa, these recent high-profile killings with significant death tolls have become a source of worry to South Africans. Just 2 weeks ago, 21 teenagers died in another attack in East London in what police believe was an incident of poisoning or gas attack. After spending over 2 decades in power, Rwandan President Paul Kagame said he would run for office for the fourth time in 2024. He said that he plans to remain in office for another 20 years. Paul Kagame made this known in an interview with a French TV channel. Mr. Kagame in 2015 changed the Rwandan constitution, allowing him to remain in office until 2034. In the last presidential election 5 years ago, where he disallowed several opposition politicians and jailed those who dared to challenge him, Kagame won by a landslide of 99% of the vote. Political observers outside Rwanda dismissed the election as a sham. In the words of 64-year-old Kagame, I would consider running for another 20 years. I have no problem with that. Elections are about people choosing. Kagame came to power in 1994 when the rebel group he commanded helped end the 1994 genocide that killed over 800,000 people in 10 days. Since then, he has ruled the country with an iron fist, though he has constantly denied allegations of human rights abuses. Numerous human rights groups have condemned the country for disrespecting citizens' rights. Louis Mudge, the Central African Director of Human Rights Watch, told the BBC that he was surprised that people were surprised that Kagame plans to go for another term in office. Rwanda is a country where it's very, very dangerous to oppose the government, let alone be a political opponent. And this authoritarian system is going to be the system for the foreseeable future, he said. If he continues for another 20 years, Rwanda will be hell. Charles Kambanda, a lawyer and university lecturer in the US, told the BBC. According to Mr. Kambanda, Rwandans live in a climate of fear. He said more than one minister had told him they remain in government because they fear being assassinated if they leave. A few months ago, Kagame's government got entangled in a controversy as it accepted to participate in a UK asylum plan that would send asylum seekers in the country to Rwanda for processing. This plan, condemned by the UN and other international organizations, was proper in the eyes of Kagame. In an apparent warning to authoritarian leaders across the globe, hundreds of thousands of citizens of Sri Lanka stormed the palace of their president yesterday and chased him out of office. This followed several weeks of protests as the country's economy collapsed. There was a shortage of basic necessities like food, fuel, and medicine. In videos seen all over the world,
the heart of government, Sri Lanka's presidential secretariat, was surrounded by thousands of protesters who then stormed the building. From the morning, clashes between protesters and security forces have taken place across the capital city, Colombo. Undeterred by tear gas, police firing in the air, and water cannons, protesters gathered to march on the president's house to force him out of office. In the clashes, many are reported to be injured. Their patience was wearing thin, even with the military. They broke down the multi-layer protective cordons and removed all barriers from their path for the final push. Security forces were overwhelmed by the sheer numbers and determination as they stormed the president's house. Some carrying the nation's flag, they walked through the gardens and many rooms and corridors of the building, warning their president to go, while a few jumped in the swimming pool to cool off in the most secure address in the country. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa had earlier been evacuated to an undisclosed location.
Reports that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has agreed to step down have not been independently confirmed. The president has not been seen or heard from since protesters stormed his residence and office. There is apparent worry about who is in charge of the country. The country is bankrupt and needs billions of dollars to be functional again. I am Chido Onuma. It is 4:30 p.m. in Abuja, Nigeria.
I am Rudolph Okonkwo. It is 11:30 a.m. in Chesapeake, Virginia. On our show today is Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa. He's popularly known as Charly Boy. He's also known as Area Fada, the king of boys, the Odudu Bariba of Africa, and the president of all frustrated Nigerians. For over 40 years, he has dominated the Nigerian space. He's an entertainer and a political activist. More than anybody else in that space, he continues to reinvent himself. He has done it all. Talk show host, president of the Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, judge of the Nigerian Idol. Please welcome to the show, the legend of our time, Charly Boy. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Charly Boy.
Thank you.
Good to have you, the father himself.
Yes, I wonder why you use the sir in my name. I'm not a knight, so but I like to be addressed as Fada. Not be Fada as in Father. Now Fada, Fada. You say it like you mean it. Yes, Fada.
From we thought you chest it, as they say.
Yes,
it's nice. It's nice to have you. We are really honored.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Now, let's start by getting your take on what is going on in Nigeria, the political situation of the country. What is your take?
Well, I am glad, first and foremost, that in my lifetime, I'm witnessing what is about to turn into a full-blown revolution. Because from what my eyes can see so far, I know that a lot of Nigerian youths are exacerbated. They are frustrated in their hopelessness and joblessness, that the only way forward, is to, sorry, just a little interruption here, that the only way forward is for them to do the needful, which is to reinvent a new mindset. Because the first thing that I would like to say, that my generation is guilty of what is transpiring, what is playing out right now before our faces. Okay? But I've always maintained that the salvation of this contraption called Nigeria lies in the hands of its exceptional people. And who are those people that I keep talking about? The young ones, the youths. So I am happy that it looks like something has activated them. It looks like they're yearning for a new narrative. It looks like they're sick and tired of what has been happening so far. And they want a change in their life to retrieve their stolen future. So I'm happy that I'm witnessing all of that in my lifetime.
Okay, so we want to narrow it down to what is happening, which is the presidential election coming up next year, and we have four main candidates. Can you please give us your take on all these four candidates? We're talking about Tinubu, Atiku, Kwankwaso, and P2B.
Yeah, you are leaving out the most important people
Yeah.
in
Okay.
this group.
Okay.
And the most important people and the people that I will forever vote for is the Nigerian youth. So wherever I'm talking about the ones who are intellectually, politically aware of what's happening in the environment. I'm talking about the people I saw in NSAS who put that together. Okay? So those are the people. I'm not, Charly Boy does not endorse any political whatever. I've already put it in a song 4 years ago that APC and PDP is not what we should be talking about in this era. I've said it, so I can go back to that. So APC, PDP, now the same mama born them. We all know who they are. I'm simply for the Nigerian youths, those ones where their mumu don't do, those ones where their mumu don't belefu, wherever in which direction they are pointing at, that is where I'm going.
Let's just pause and play that because
difference between akara and beans. Tell me the difference, you between pole and plantain. You see, APC and PDP are the same.
All right, so there you are. It's saying that they are the same, APC, PDP. But what about Labour Party? What about Shore's party? What about, are they the same? Is there any hope in any of those ones? What about Kwankwaso?
These are new narratives that we're hearing in the present time. And I think that, yes, because in Nigeria it has to be black or white. But for me, I'm only interested in progress. I'm only interested in the security and the enabling environment for young people. Okay? And to all intents and purposes, for now, we are seeing them point in the direction of people like Peter Obi, maybe Showore, okay, for what is what. And that's why I said that wherever these young people, because as the area father, I'm only interested in the future of young people in this country because they are the most disenfranchised. They are the one who are hurting the most. I'm not interested in all these politicians. They all have money. They all have various passports. If anything happened to Nigeria, right now, they are citizens of other countries. They can run away. But what about those who can leave the shores of the country? What about our children's children? And that is why I say to young people, this fight is your fight. It's not anybody's fight. Yes, we accept responsibility that most of us are all guilty. Like I said earlier on, my generation is part of this problem. Okay? But if you have been handed down a bad deal, it's for you to create and make it better.
All right, Chido.
Yeah, thank you, Fada. Let me be a little more specific and to ask, and I know some of the wonderful mobilization you've done over the years, whether it's the Mumu Don't Do movement. Is there anything specific you're doing, looking at the situation we currently face ahead of 2023, in terms of the mobilization or direction for these young people? Because truth be told too, a lot of them are frustrated, and this frustration makes it easy for them to be pushed here and there by the mainstream politicians, whether it's for as little as 4,000 naira or 10,000 naira. Is there anything specific you would like us to know that you're doing in mobilizing these young people?
I've been doing what I've been doing. The same thing I'm doing now is what I've been doing for the past 40 years. And that's more than enough. And I've assumed the role of fatherhood. That is why I am the area father. I'm not calling myself area father.
So there is no new movement. There is no new movement in place.
It's not about movement. And if it was about, it is about movement. But it's not about the name of the movement or a movement that has just come by this instance to fight this. Yeah. This has been a continuous battle. And like I said earlier on, I thank God that for most of the young people, their mumu don't bellyful them. That is
all right. I think it
seems to be some disruption.
Why? Okay, it's coming back.
Earlier on. Okay. So, as an area father, my own is to keep gingering young people, keep motivating them, keep inspiring them. Like I said, this is what I've been doing for past 40 years. So I'm not ready to stop now. This is now that is needed the most. And that's
that. Yeah. So it's also important that young people have heroes, and many of them have it in you and some other people who have been in this struggle for many, many years. Well, concretely, again, what do we expect these people to point to in terms of the kind of nation society we want to build? What should we be telling the young people? It's not just about going out to get your PVC and vote. We have to have some kind of ideal. And as many, I don't want to put it in philosophical or go academic, but a nation must have an ideal around which it exists. What's that ideal nation we are looking to create?
Nigeria is the way it is because there's not a popular ideal that is holding all of us together. Everybody's come and do as they want because we've allowed them for so long. Now it's become more difficult to fight them, but fighting them we will. And I keep saying that the exceptional, mark my word, exceptional youths of this country are ready to fight that fight. What should we be telling them? We can't tell them anything that they are not telling themselves in the present. That they are not telling themselves in the present because they've had enough. Enough is enough. And they feel that they deserve better, which is why I said in the beginning, I keep repeating, that I'm happy with what I see that is playing out. Okay? They know that these people, the enemies, our enemies, have been playing from their old playbook. They've been doing the same thing that they've been doing for over 60 years. That is knocking our heads together, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, knock their head together, introduce religion as a dividing factor, okay? But what I see is that it's a class war. The haves and the have not. To the point that in Nigeria now, there's no middle class. Forget it. It's the rich against the poor. Don't be deceived. Because in all the corruption that is going on in this country, you'll find an Igbo man. Okay? You'll find a Yoruba man. You find a Fulani man. So when it suits them, they come to the table, they do what they do. But my happiness today is that young people, not all the young people, because you can never get all of them in one place. It's not possible. Now, let me try and give you maybe an analogy that you can relate to. In a country of 200 million, you can say 0.003% are the people who are strangulating Nigeria, are the people who have their legs on our neck. Okay? So I also believe that in a country of 200 million, where you have over 60 million youths, that even 0.001%, when they do decide to get together, I mean, how can you convince me that people of a barbaric generation, people from the 19th century, can defeat the intelligence of the new millennium people? It's not possible. It's not how analog will go fit to defeat this thing. It's not digital. It's not possible. So this is where I anchor my hope in young people. Because for the past 40 years, it's been, this my constant messaging, it's been inspiring, it's been gingering young people to know that if they are not at the table where their future is being discussed, they don't have a future in this country. And I ended by saying that I am glad.
Thank you. Before we go on the break shortly, talking about, yes, I agree completely with you. But if we look back 2 years ago and saw what happened with EndSARS, this same division you talked about, the political class, the elite, the state itself uses divide and rule tactics. So mobilization was mostly in the southern part of the country, and it was so difficult to get young people in the other half of the country to join the demonstrations. The government tries to intervene and use all kinds of things to get them, to distract them and make it impossible for them to join what their compatriots in the southern part of the country. I've always asked that question. How do we get young people across the country to be on the same page? And I'm not talking, as you said, I'm not talking about every young person, but at least the majority that are involved in this movement that you so passionately talk about. How do we break the barriers of ethnicity, of religion, of tribe, and geopolitical differences?
For them, you're late, you're not current. My dear, let me not, you're not current. From what I see, it's not how we get them. They're already there. There may be not a whole lot of them, but I think the critical mass is there, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. I'm talking out of experience. I'm talking out of the fact that as an area father, I know how many young people are coming to me. In fact, their plans and their strategy, myself, for all the things I don't do for this world, when I listen to some young people talk in this country, I know there are a lot of mumu people, mumu youths, whose mumu has come factory fitted. I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking about the outstanding, the exceptional youths of this country. Or else explain to me in clear language why anytime you see a hardworking youth leave the shores of this country, they usually do well wherever they go to. That's because in this toxic environment, not a lot of things grow. That's because those critical few that have put themselves together, EndSARS wasn't going to, the fact of the massacre in EndSARS wasn't going to stop them, because they have now understood that for the inactions of the past decades, for consign me attitude of the past decades. For my thief is better than your thief for the past decades have held them and have made them. Hello? Yeah. Have made them a slave in their own environment. And that is why I can't help but say, I'm happy that things are turning around. Obi may be a good politician. Obi may have the track record, but I can tell you point blank, this is not about Obi. What I see that is happening is a revolution of what the mindset. And the young people that I minister to are beginning to get the message, because for all the time that they've wallowed in their docility and inaction, that this is what you have. Because scumbags, criminals, vagabonds have taken over the political sphere. So it becomes more difficult. And they understand that for anything to change in this country, for anything to change, the consequences, the sacrifice will be enormous. And I'm happy that they are ready and willing to make that sacrifice. So for me, that is enough. I can die tomorrow. I don't care.
Okay, let's take a minute break. When we come back, we dig deeper into what is happening.
Logo kò ní sófò, gbogbo ìṣòro rẹ̀ ọ̀tá ní òkò, ẹnu ẹ ò ní gbẹ ò ní mọ́fò, ọmọ yìí kò ọpọlọ lè fi gbé kò. Ṣé o no like designer? Àbí you no like to gbapá? Ibigilaga ti gàgà, you gats to shop ẹ̀tẹ̀. Here we go! Palazzo, Jiggy, gbọ́jà kò lè reason. No sleeping, ọmọ no dọ́ọ̀lì, káfíńtì kíákíá ọmọ yá mi. Máì jí ló ṣàmọ̀ yá mi. Òdìdẹ bàtà wọ̀ tárí, ẹ bá mi ṣá mi.
Good morning, Lagos. It's your girl, Vibe Sasa, on your radio this beautiful morning in the center of excellence, the city called Las Giddy. Traffic is already building up, and area Fada, the one and only Charly Boy, is cooking something we never expected. Yes, we were not expecting this.
The freedom of humanity. We know where we supposed to sit on the job, see poverty, see frustration. We are tired.
You can suffering. Even though my father died inside.
From their generation to their generation, that they are faced with the
Manko Mengona.
All right, welcome back to 90 Minutes Africa. We're here with the one and only area Fada. So let's look at what is. Let's look at this aspect. This is actually what the young people, we can say, majority of young people today are basically looking at these people.
I know. Hey, good morning again. It's not too much. There is a crown there already.
Is that the hope of young people today in Nigeria? These two people, are they the people that will bring about?
It's not about personalities, my brother. They think deeply to it, and they tell you. It's not about personality. Peter happened to be this. What is happening? What I see happening is above and beyond Peter. How we take no say even Peter self if we go anywhere next year? How do you know? How can you convince me that there will even be an election next year? How can you? With all this kind of evil, demonic evil that is permeating all over the place, that killing a human being have become transactional. There is a place, in case you don't know, go and read your fake constitution of 1990. There is a place they have provision that in case there's any chaos in this country, they'll declare a state of emergency. And they can continue for another 6 months, another 6 months, and then what happens? So when people try to paint the picture of Obi like as a tribal thing. I say, okay, this is the work, still the work of our enemies. You say, that person Igbo. Oh, they talk because na Igbo. Oh, not because na Christian. Oh, because it. No. It's none of those. So Obi, as far as I'm concerned, becomes like a symbol. Are you hearing me? To me, it's like a symbol because I don't know whether election will happen next year or not. Okay? And with the way where I see say these people don't prepare, because it's by any means necessary that they will try to hang on to power. Look at the state of insecurity in our land today. So where is all of this thing headed to? Where the people, all the terrorists who are in the bushes in Igbo land, in Western land, even in the north, what are they waiting for? What are they doing in the bushes? So this is beyond just because I'm hoping that what would happen come 2023 is the fact that we're all going to be flabbergasted, that we're all going to be surprised with the turn of events. And the only people that can activate all of this is the Nigerian youth. That is why, if anybody asks me where I stand, that is where I'm standing.
All right, Chido.
Yes, thanks again. I'm just wondering, there is a sense of pessimism and you have hope. And I'm sure you are a great patriot. You believe in this country. What is it about Nigeria that gives you hope that this country will survive or things would eventually work out?
Chido, let me tell you
where does
something.
that hope?
Yes, I'll tell you where the hope is coming from. If you know the number of young people that I've met in my own small personal life, what I've learned from them, what they've taught me, okay, you know why I'm talking the way I'm talking. I believe so much in the young people. And because I've been privileged to meet exceptional, outstanding young people, that is why I say to myself, God willing, if a lot of these people, they fit no reach 200 out of the 60 million people, that is still a sizable number. If they can come together and strategize, that they will be able to remedy us from all of this. That is what gives me hope, Chido. That and only that. And that is why everywhere I go, it's about young people. It's not about old people.
And you think they stand a chance considering all the things stacked against them?
What do you mean standing a chance? Against the people who carry gun, Abi? The people who carry gun, Abi?
Well, I mean,
like I said, yeah, this is a game of strategy. First of all, they've woken up from their deep slumber. That makes me happy, okay? And I've said in this interview that people, barbarians from the 19th century, cannot defeat the millenniums. It's not possible unless they don't want to do something. And I know for a lot of them, their mumu don't belleful us. So you talk this matter from here to tomorrow, I say now young people like they vote for. And the reason is obvious. And I'm not talking about some of the young people that you may know. I'm talking about the exceptional people I've had privilege to meet who have changed my life, who have reinforced who I am today.
Yeah,
and
Fada,
that's why I'm a father.
Yeah, Fada. Yeah, let me. One of the people running for president is your age mate, Bola Tinubu, as he said, and the
Bola
other one.
Tinubu is not my age mate, too. No can start to talk like that.
That's what he told us. That's what he told us.
He's not my age mate, too.
and the other one is older than you by just 5 years. So these are your people. Do you actually talk to them? And when you do, or people
I
like
don't
them?
talk to them. I better go. I don't know them.
But,
Then
but, but
these people.
let's
Then
say you
pass me. Then pass
let's say you
me.
let's say you meet them at the
You
old
know,
people's
I'm a
meeting.
small
What
fry.
will you say to
I beg.
them? What will you say to them? Let's say they are watching this. What will you say to them?
I'll tell them. I'll tell them that I think their time is rounding up. That's all I can tell them because what's happening today, you go see. God keeping us alive, but it's not going to be easy. It will come with a bloody consequence. A lot of innocent lives will be lost in all this shenanigans that is playing out. Okay? I'm not talking it like, say, it's a walk in the park, because it's not. It is certainly not a walk in the park. But where else where I fit hang my hope? Because if I no get hope, that means I'm already a living dead.
I think his internet is frozen. We will. Okay, he's back, but we don't have audio. Father, we don't have audio on your end. We can't hear you. All right. Just announce to our viewers that in another 30 minutes we will let you join us and give you opportunity to make a comment or ask a question to Charly Boy. And of course, when we come back, we are going to talk about his personal life, and some of the roles he's played in Nigeria in the last few years. He's been active for over 40 years. So let's take a little break, and then we'll come back.
They can be as articulated as they want, but we trust integrity, not words. Nigerians have been through enough tribulations. No more tinibulation. Yes. For us to prosper and be safe, we must not just be obedient, but must have genuine respect for the laws of humanity. Yes, Charly Boy says so. Go bloody get your PVCC.
All right. Welcome back, Area Fada. Chido.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear
Fada,
you.
can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
We'll come back to politics. Looking at that video that
Hello.
just of Area Fada, you are many things.
You're cutting.
Yeah, Chido, you are
Different things to
talking.
different people. Can you briefly tell us? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I just quickly to repeat what I said, I was asking a question about Fada about the last video we just saw. It showed you in a different light. You are different things to different people. Can you just give us a quick rundown of who Area Fada is, or who Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa is, the singer, the president of PMAN, the activist, and the journalist, and everything in between? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we had you.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
He's speaking, but the internet is not very good. Area Fada, we can hear
We
you.
can't hear you. Your audio is not coming on. We still can't.
All right. let's just we can hear you. Let's just take another break, and then he will maybe restart his system, and then we'll get him.
Nobody's ever going to make me hate an Hausa man, or hate a Yoruba person, or hate an Igbo person, or hate an Ijaw person. No. That is not our problem. Our problem is not about whether you're a Christian, I'm a Muslim, or I'm a Buddhist, you're a Hare Krishna. That is not the problem. The problem is that there are few Nigerians, you can call them cabal, you can give them whatever name, have cornered Nigeria. Like I sang in my song 1990, I say, don't carry Nigeria, put for pocket now. They've cornered Nigeria. So they are the ones, they are our enemies. They are the ones that foster and fan all this hatred.
All right. Welcome back, Area Fada.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Good.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead. And
yeah, the question I asked for millions who may not have, who do not have the background in terms of the question I asked, can you give us that background, how your origins, how it all started for you, and your trials and tribulations, and all the things you've done in the last 50 years that you've been active in the public space?
Simply put, I was just a child who rejected the status quo. I wanted my own thing. I wanted to do my own thing. I had parents who were very strict. And they fed me a lot with so much moral codes. It's unbelievable. And those are the things that I fall back to in the present. Those are the things that have made me who I am in the present. And I never knew that I was in silent competition with my father, because I was sick and tired of having an over-looming kind of imagery that hung over my head. And I hated the fact that before I became Charly Boy, I was always introduced as so-and-so person's son. I didn't like that. I wanted to have my own identity and my own success, not dependent on anybody. So I'm like a prince who, they got me a gold-plated bed, say, okay, as a prince, here's your bed, go and lay down. But I left the palace and wandered into the bush because I wanted to find out, how do animals live? As I reached that bush, I no quick comot. Now there I stay, and I thank God that I ventured into the bush, because if I didn't, I probably no go get the kind sense who I get now. Because in any kind of weather, I will survive. So that is in a nutshell, is my background, where I'm coming from. But I always say that I come from a place of love. I come from a place I didn't have to struggle anything with siblings, because we were few, about 3 of us. No, 4. But 2 is dead, it's just me and my kid brother. So I come from a place with a lot of moral codes. At the time when I was a teen, my father used to have one quote where he would always say things like, anywhere you see injustice, fight it. Fight it, otherwise it will come back and chop your head off. My father used to say, at that time, I didn't know anything though. I just felt that this guy was so overwhelming, so cantankerous. We used to call him Okongu. That's an old person who is outdated. But I thank God that I was brought up the way I was brought up by my parents. They taught me to query and question everything. I should not take nothing for granted. Okay? Anywhere you see injustice, fight it, because it will turn around to bite your head off. And I didn't want anything biting my head off. Okay? But I had that desire to outdo my father in terms of advocacy. So he did. There's really no difference between me and my father. He did his own at the bar and the bench. I'm doing my own on the street with ordinary people, with the masses. And it's no wonder why I'm called the area father anyway.
You are the son of the preeminent jurist.
They know they take that one go bank.
Justice No, there is a question I'm going to ask you. Hold on, Fada.
Okay, fine. No problem.
You were born with a silver spoon. I'm sure I can rightly say that's right to say. I was going to ask you what prepared you for your role and on life as an actor, but you've explained it. Your father,
yes,
many of us
leaving my bed and entering that bush.
Yeah, many of us looked up to Justice Oputa, who was referred to as the Socrates of the Supreme Court. It's the Nigerian system that made it impossible for somebody as preeminent as that didn't become the Chief Justice of Nigeria. But that's by the wayside. No, the question I was going to ask before you offered any explanation was that not many children, young people born with a silver spoon with that kind of opportunity. I mean, the son of a justice of the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court was Supreme Court, not now. And you talked about the challenges you had. How was it then? Your dad was doing his as in the Supreme Court and you were doing it in the street. Was there any kind of family, how do I put it? Was there any kind of challenge? Was there any kind of worry?
Of course,
was there any kind of family
They were afraid for me. It's like when you planned heavy for your pikin and then say he won't they sleep outside like a prodigal son. Yeah. That can be, he didn't initially understand because he will always say, why are you evoking all this kind of imagery? People will think that you are irresponsible. People will think this, people will think that. One day he asked me that question. I said, but what do you think? You will born me, will be my father. What do you think? He said, yes, because I know you are none of all of these things. I said, okay, who do you think is instigating all this perception? He didn't answer that. I said, of course it's me. What did I study in school? I'm a publicist. I studied communication. So I know how to communicate. And my audience is young people. You see the tie right from the birth of Charly Boy, because Charly Boy was invented to shock timid, myopic, mongo-packish, analogish Nigerians out of their way of thinking. Charly Boy was to wow. But after a while, we left all the wow factor. Not be only till recently where people they think say I even get blue. Okay. But if you know who you are right from Jump Street, because me too, why do I have a lot of sympathy for poor people? Because I have been poor. Not by birth, but by the choices I made in life to disown my parents, to go and find my way. I remember the earlier days of Charly Boy, as I was just putting the brand together. I couldn't put food on the table. I only had one little thing called a studio, where they collect small money from people who won't come to demo. That was not something, an occupation to provide to help me provide for my family. At the time, even to chop, Justice Okuta son to chop was a problem. Do you know, when I came back from America, I stayed in the village for 7 years. I almost went mental. And I rejected, my spirit rejected going back to my father to say, that work where you say make I go work after youth service, can you rearrange that for me? Because of course he will say, I told you, now you see you're a failure. Nobody can tell me that I'm a failure. No. So I had to put head, and I can beat my chest today and say, I'm glad I did it my way. But you see, it was all my father's moral code that have made me walk in the straight and narrow path, where I no can spoil myself, where I no can become like the average Nigerian, transactional. I have very strong moral codes because my pedigree, even though I'm sleeping in the bush with animals, my pedigree.
All right. This is what we get to deal with. Okay, go ahead. I think he's back.
Okay.
All right. Let me. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Very, very good. It's very important that you give this backdrop so that people who are unfortunate not to have known this will get the idea.
Can you tell can you get your
But not be today I begin talk this story. Maybe
can you tell your guests can you tell your guests to keep the tempo low? Yes.
I go soon finish.
Whole Fada.
Thank you.
You have to beg them. A whole Fada. You are begging them. Do they understand?
These are my cousins.
Do they understand how important you are?
No, these are my cousins.
Okay.
I can't be talking anyhow.
A prophet is not known in his hometown.
Even if they are strangers, they're in my house, so I have to be a good host. I must beg them.
All right. Let me ask you. Now, based on what you're saying, do you think it's now kind of a requirement for someone to break away from the path of the parents want them to follow in a way to make something for themselves? You know, we can go back to history and point at people like Emeko Juku. He also did exactly what you did, which was to abandon the path that his father set out for him.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a criteria for anybody to accomplish anything?
Well, I mean, everybody charts their own individual journey. I just shared with you my individual journey. Okay? But for whatever choice that you make in life, understand that it comes with consequences. So if you're ready to chest out and absorb those consequences, I wish you nothing but good luck. Because it's not in all cases that it will pan out your way. And if it doesn't pan out your way, but you know that you've given it your best shot, then you find something that aligns with your passion. Because it's all about passion, all about, what you do that gives you the kick. Okay? Like I said, I'm not coming from a hungry place. I come from a place of want and love. So giving comes naturally to me. And part of that giving is giving of myself, my time. It's not just to be throwing money. No, that's not the giving I'm talking about. Myself and my time, that I see a young person who is aspiring to be somebody, who works hard, he's dedicated. My own, anyhow I fit help that person. It's like it's an obligation on me, because remember, I'm doing this partly because I've been down before. I've been poor before. I've had days that I couldn't even put food. When I dey talk like this, it go be some people, Charly Boy just the lie. But these are the consequences I suffered from disowning my parents, from not listening to them. After all, when I finish, what is it called? When I finish youth service, for instance, right? I had a mobile job waiting for me at the PRO. This was in 1982. When my father called me up, because then I used to stay at his guest site. When he called me up and said, "Hey, see this letter, go to Port Harcourt, go and meet so person, and make sure you pack your things, you're about to start work." I look and finish and say, "Work? Where you know discuss work? Then I don't want to work. I don't want to work for anybody because I don't have that kind of discipline. So I can't be regimented because all my life, that was what my father was doing to us, which is a good training. Okay, don't get me wrong, it's a good training because it allowed me to know a whole lot about discipline. That wherever you're going in life, if you don't have the correct kind of discipline, you should not reach there. That's what I got out of that training. But it was too regimented. So I wanted to, and because I was not happy, I was upset with how my father was pouncing on me all the time. I had to say something to piss him off. So when he finally asked, "Okay, you don't want to work, what do you want to do?" I said, "I want to be a musician." The man fainted, not nearly faint, he fainted. You understand?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's not like I know music. I still don't see myself as a musician because I believe that a musician is somebody who can read, write, and interpret music. And I can't do any of those. So I'm not qualified to say music has always been a hobby. My bread and butter is as a publicist. I was running a company called New Wave Production. I was into documentaries, TV programs, and stuff like that. I was available for anybody at that time who had money to pay my bills for the kind of work that I did. That was my bread and butter, not music.
Now,
You understand?
Fada, let me stop you because in 1982, that was when you released your first album, What a Miss. And
No, I think you're wrong. Not 82. I think it was about 84, somewhere
84.
around
Okay,
there.
okay, okay. So it's almost 40 years that you do you consider yourself when you look at the young performers today like Wizkid, Burna Boy, the video, you look at yourself as the Christian Chukwu of your era or the Debami of your era. That is the people that charted the way but didn't benefit in terms of the international recognition and financial reward.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can say that. You can say that because during my time as a PMAN president, okay, I was fighting for copyright issues. Then it was non-existent in Nigeria. During my time as a PMAN president, Nigerian music was only allowed 15% on our airwaves. I said, no, that ain't going to happen. During my time as a PMAN president, when there was an influx of foreign artists coming into Nigeria, and they were paying Nigerian artists maybe 150,000, some chicken shit change like that. And I fought back. And I said, as a PMAN president, from here on, anybody with they no fit pay 1 million, there's not going to be any show. Okay? Where did all that fight? Where did it lead me to? Most of the time I slept in the cell. I remember for one time I stayed for a period of almost, and it was towards Christmas. Okay, Nigeria breweries, they put me in cell. They organize and put me in cell so they can go ahead and have their concert. I think who came there? Who came at that time? Jaru. Okay, and it was still the same people that you're fighting on their behalf who we're busy talking, Charly Boy, we don't know, we'll not be our president. We must play this show, we must collect the money. Yeah. The first time I took multi-choice to court when they first came into Nigeria, because NTA sold my program to them. Of course, all the movie makers, they say, this troublesome person, don't come, he won't scatter us. See people where they promote us. Okay, so yeah, I'm responsible for some kind of awakening in the industry. Now, because you fought for something does not mean that you must enjoy that thing. There is nowhere it's written anywhere. But I wasn't doing all that so that, thank God that I had even the strength to do it. So if I no chop, other people must chop now. I mean, you don't think so?
Yeah, you're right.
So
You're right.
whether I benefit from it is irrelevant, But at the time I was doing all of this, I was a very happy person because I felt useful. I felt useful
Okay.
to my environment. Yes.
Let's go back to politics. And before we bring the audience, have
I
you
have to
considered
entertain my
running?
guests too. No,
Yeah,
We
we
I'm
have.
just
not. I
have
can't
30.
run now. I can't run. I consider running. No, I no fit run. I don't old now. Forget about all this for me. Tinubu is my
but
junior brother. I beg, forget all that one. I'm not a
uh,
spring
but
chicken anymore. Okay,
we
it's
know,
just
but
because
the
it's
press.
just because I take care of myself, and see, if football they rain, you know, go tell me, oh yeah, go play football now. If it's not my calling, now this thing that they do now, to be able to guide young people, to ginger them, to bring them close as my children, as they call them my pikin. Because in my life, I've had a few people who were ministering to me. I know they talk about pastors. Where they ginger me, say, this is the way they do. Just keep on, keep on. Because so many times I wanted to give up. Money I no see. Bad name I don't incur because of my hard lining ways. Okay, so what is it? It just took the grace of God and my tenacity, my consistency to stay the path. So to the point when my parents, I have both my parents in my house in Abuja. Now this thing remains small. Make my papa they carry my briefcase. This is somebody who say this kind of thing where they do, you not go walk here out. We all conservative people. Look at me today. I did it
Wow,
my way.
very good.
I think you've how do they say it? You've played your part. You've paid your dues, and posterity, history, and everything will remember you. So I think we'll bring in the audience now, who may have a few questions to ask
I
you.
don't the wonder I say no, only three of us they discuss this thing. But make una
No,
do,
many,
make una know say I get visitors.
Yeah, we'll be
Make I
yeah,
attend to them.
in another
we'll
20
be
minutes.
out
We're done.
in another 20 minutes. We'll be done.
Okay, so joining
Yeah.
us
So
now is Abby. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Darameji and Chido. It's my pleasure.
thank
Also,
you.
Yeah.
also we have CM and there's somebody else here. Okay, proudly, yeah, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So we have Charly Boy, the area father, with us. So in less than 30 seconds, just ask a question or make a comment. Okay, sorry, we lost him, but he's going to join us again, I believe. All right, so we wait for him to join us again, and I believe. All right.
You have any videos? Just
Yeah,
let me know.
let me play there. But please, if you mute yourself until we call you. Yeah, let me play there. But please, if you mute yourself until we call you. Yeah, let me play there. But please, if you mute yourself until we call you. Yeah, let me play there. But please, if you mute yourself until we call you. All right. So So there are some people that I can't mute from my own end. So if you don't mute yourself, I'll have to remove you. I'm sorry about that. Okay, he's back. All right, so let's start with you. Ebby. Ebby, you are with Charly Boy and everybody else. If you have a comment or question for him, please do so in 30 seconds.
Yes, but I don't see Area Fada. Maybe he can hear us, but I can't see his video. I just want to appreciate him. Actually, is someone whose life I've learned a lot from, and just like Chido has nailed, you know, and try to probe how and the reason why he chose, how he has become, and his responses has been, one of the things that also motivates me myself. Uh, I didn't come from a silver spoon like Area Father, but Area Father, I see him and I see a lot of myself in him. And I don't have question for him. I just want to appreciate him. I was face to face with him at some point with his wife at his house so many years ago when he wanted to build a website, and it was electric. So he's a man that I like and I respect. And, thank you, Chido. Thank you, Rudolph, for bringing this wonderful man to the show.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Area Father, we will take 2 more and then you can respond to them, okay? CM, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Rudolph. I count myself lucky today. It's not every day you see a Area Father. It's not every day. So I'm so happy that I'm going to pose a question to you. I followed you for the past few years, considering your utterances and the way you feel bad about the situation in the Southeast. Please, assuming you find yourself in position of authority, how do you think you can start to revive, to regenerate the Southeast of your dream, particularly the way the Socrates, who is your father, brought you up? Because there's no more morals now in the Southeast. So what do you think you could do to help our people? That is my question.
All right. 1 more, and then we will, Proudly Bear. Go ahead.
Hello, our brother, the Charly Boy, and hello everyone else. I would like to ask, although I do appreciate all your contributions for the youths in Nigeria. I know you say you're not a musician, but I've seen some of your music, so your music did touch and make people move in certain ways, My question is, I'm not saying you're fading away completely, your legacy leaves, but can you proudly say you've left a positive legacy to the youths who are going to carry on with that positive voice you have implanted in the society? And did you include women, or is it just for men? That's my question. Thank you.
All right. So we will let him answer the questions and the comments, and then we will get the rest of the people who are waiting. In the meantime, we're having internet issues at his end, and I know he's joining again. So let's give him a second to join us again. Okay, now he's here. All right. So, Area Fada, I don't know how much you had their questions and comments.
I only had one question. Do I think that I've impacted positively on the youths? No. Now then you get to go.
Okay, yeah, you got the answer. He doesn't know. You have to go and ask him. So let's.
Sorry, is he responding to my question?
Yes.
No, that's not my question. My question is kind of diverse. I'm saying.
Okay.
I
sorry.
Your music.
This thing keeps going off.
I'm saying.
This stuff keeps going off and on.
All right, go ahead, Proudly Bear.
Yeah, my question is, I am actually proud of what you've done with the youths. That's what I'm saying. So I recognize your efforts and your empowerment in the society with the youth, because I've seen a few. And I'm saying, in those empowerments, did you venture, including women, because I believe women are important, and one of them to represent them as well. Your legacy, the youth that you're bringing up, can you positively say?
I'm sorry. I need to sign off.
All right.
Wow.
Okay. So he's sorry. There's a lot of noise where he is, and he has to sign off. I'm glad we have him. Okay. Oh God. So let's see if we can say the final words, and then right. All right. Therefore, you can speak.
Like I'm telling you.
All right. So apparently he had some guests at his home, and unfortunately it's very noisy and the connection is not very, very good. Chido, you are in Abuja too, I think.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm in Abuja.
Okay. So
he's not in Abuja. He's in Lagos.
Okay.
I feel disappointed, anyways, because all this time his internet had been stable, and he said he wanted to spend time with us. So,
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we can see that it's just Nigeria happened to him. You can see that he's trying to.
When you allowed so many takers in, so his internet bandwidth couldn't take it. That's what's happening. It's not,
All right. So, Chido, so what we're going to do, we have about, let's see, we have about, how many minutes? 17 minutes.
About 17 minutes.
So let's with people we have here, let's see if we can do something in that within that period. So there's this news coming out of Nigeria that Bola Tinubu has picked his running mate, and it's Shetima, the former governor of Borno State. Ebi, what do you think?
Well, I would say I like it. In a selfish way, I have not hidden my interest for. I am a fundamentally Showore supporter.
Internet has been.
Go ahead, Ebi. Go ahead.
Okay, but of course, for this presidency, I am obedient, if I was use that word. So it just shows that their taste. Okay, it just shows their taste. You put them side by side, it's still a knockout for Obi and Dati. 1-on-1. So I don't even care what APC or a PDP does. Like, they are, for me, personal non grata. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
All right, CM, what do you think?
Well, I think at this point I was looking at the Wikipedia profile of Shetima, but I've read a little that the much I wanted to. You see, I'm assuming first of all that Shetima is a Muslim, and if he is, then I will want to make a submission, which is APCs, they do not take the sensitivity of Nigerians into consideration. You see, when we are discussing Nigerian politics, we are not discussing politics generally as is done in Ghana, in America, in Canada, in Brazil, or anywhere. We are talking of Nigeria. I understand. I mean, whatever it is, people may say we've got Muslim before, nobody bothered. But the winner of that Muslim, did he enjoy the mandate? What happened? Even then, I'm not wishing the same thing repeats itself again, but you should have balanced the ticket in the interest of Christians in the north, and then you go there and fight for ticket. Because Nigeria being what it is, people will just feast on that issue of, you forgot about the Muslim, Christians, you didn't put us. And then because of that, anything can happen. So to me, it's not a smart move at all. So on that strength, because we are talking of, left for me, I'm civilized enough to accept it. But when you discussing Nigerian politics, you remove sentiments and face the real issue and discuss it like Ojukwu we say within the context of Nigeria. So to that extent, it's not a smart choice. Whatever comes out of it is up to them.
I'll just play the devil's advocate here. It's a choice. Does it really matter who he chooses? I think what we should be preoccupied, and I may be wrong, is for Nigerians to decide. So if somebody wants to pick the devil as their running mate, they're entitled to pick whoever. I don't even think we should bother giving it any attention at all. You can pick anybody you want to pick. That's your problem. Let Nigerians have the ability to decide. Let Nigerians then, within the context of Nigeria that you spoke about, let Nigerians say, okay, this man, no, this ticket, they are not interested in they don't want to reflect the sensibilities of Nigeria, and therefore they don't deserve our vote. That's the way I see it. I don't think people should give this choice any more attention that it deserves.
Anyway, well, I agree.
Thanks, Chido. That's why I didn't go into the details.
Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
True. You saved me the trouble, Chido. Probably I nearly nailed myself, sort of bringing the hook, or the whatever over my neck. So I think you put it the way I should have said it. There's no point about, after all, Yoruba will say, "One you come in there," that type of thing. So
no, I disagree totally. He has the right to choose. We have the right to comment. And on that note, let me go to Proudly Beer. What is your take on the choice? So anything that's going on in Nigeria, we have about less than 10 minutes, so we want to get around to everybody. What is
Hello,
your take?
Mr. Chido. I disagree a little bit, and I agree in some parts. The choice that Tinubu made or anyone that is going to be representing us up there is important because we want the best of choices. But unfortunately, the way Nigeria is being cajoled now is the ethnic and the religious bigotry, my turn and that turn, which is not supposed to be. It should be a democratic state where there is fairness and obedience to the rule of law. So now, if they present us a Muslim ticket, Buhari is a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I feel cheated. If I want to vote Tinubu, it's my choice.
Sorry, not to cut you. Are you saying with this choice, you have no choice?
I have no choice because
you're making it look like you have no choice. There are 18 presidential candidates on the table.
No, I have no. It's limiting my choice. I don't have no choice. Say I want to vote Tinubu and I'm not obedient. You see, and the person that is his running mate is important to me. Just as Oshibanjo is supposed to be important, but something happened that he didn't play a good role, I would say. So their match should represent us. So I don't believe that his choice is for the betterment of the society. It's personal and selfish. I believe if I want to vote Tinubu because of Fatima, I won't vote. And I don't want to be obedient.
I agree with you in the sense that he should, but I'm saying there are no rules. This is not a constitutional matter. It's more of a moral choice, and he should know, if he really wants to win the election, that this is what can give him vote. But if he decides to do that, it means it's a conscious choice he's made. And then Nigerians should be allowed. My interest, and I'm not trying to push my opinion here, I'm just adding to the conversation, is that either ways, let everybody be given the opportunity and rights to make their choices, whether as voters or presidential candidates or whatever.
Okay. My main point is that it is their choices, what they feel is personally better for them, not considering the public. That's my main point.
Okay, let's continue. If I don't want it to be between you and let's our guest talk, and
I'm a Nigerian voter too.
Yeah, you're a Nigerian voter. But if I want to dismiss your point, the point is that the fact that I have an option doesn't mean that Tinubu will still not win. And if he wins, then what happens to how I will feel? because the chance that he could still win, despite the fact that I could decide to vote for Sowore.
Yeah, so if he wins, that means that's the majority. That's the
choice of
that means
majority
majority of the voters majority of Nigerians don't care about.
Yeah, but
whether it's right or not, at the end, that's the democracy way. At the end of the day, the majority wins. So
okay, all right, hold on.
Muslim, yes.
Yeah, Jude, go ahead. Let it not be between.
Yeah. You see, I know many don't espouse the kind of ideology that I espouses, especially when it comes to this national debate. In my own case, Tinubu and Atiku should, if Nigeria were to be a sane society, Tinubu and Atiku, by virtue of their stealing their way to get their presidential, to clinch their party presidential nominee or nomination, should even be totally disqualified, because you can't steal your way through. Okay, you can't go and buy votes, spending billions to buy votes, to corrupt your way to become a presidential candidate, and people should still be looking at, hoping that something good will come out of you. It's not possible. And then he has gone to choose a non-terrorist sponsor, a non-terrorist, a non-Boko Haram founder, and one of the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria, that has been inflicted all this mayhem and pain to Nigeria for the past how many years, and has gone, of course, best of the same feather will flock together. What does anybody in his right senses couldn't have expected Tinubu, okay, a dubious man, a corrupt man to the core, to go and choose a saint? No, it's not possible. It's just not possible. So I don't know why anytime we are discussing about this, these people, we tend to overlook the corruption, how these people, Atiku and Tinubu, have corrupted their way to become their party nominee. I don't know how we are going past this. Is it because Nigeria, we are so corrupt that all of us, nobody even think and right again? Is it because our brain we are so mentally enslaved that we consider corruption as a normal thing? Many of us are abroad. All the country that some of us are, has any of those things happened? Has any candidate spent in a broad daylight, spend so much money to corrupt themselves to become the nominee of their party? Has it ever happened in any country that all of us are? Why are we normalizing this thing? Why are we not speaking out and letting our people in Nigeria to know that these people should even be non-entity? Nobody should even look their way, because for the fact that they are thieves, they have corrupted their way to clinch the nomination of their party. How are we looking as if these things are normal? What do they do?
Okay.
Thank you. Let's hear from others. We have just 5 minutes to.
Okay, Chido, take it off from there. Keep going now.
Yeah, we can. White Label American Podcast? Can we hear?
Raf, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Greetings, everyone. I thought I'll be chatting with Charly Boy, but I missed him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We were hoping to keep him, but it wasn't possible. The internet.
Oh yeah, Nigerian 5G network. So what exactly is the question I'm supposed to be answering?
No, we're just talking generally about the political situation in the country. The latest being Tinubu's choice of Senator Shettima as VP, his vice president, his running mate. Do you have any opinion on that? Does it matter that it's a Muslim ticket, or we should just forget about it?
Well, the man is free to choose who he wants, just as he's free to not tell us his primary school, or he's free to forget whether he attended primary and secondary school. Right? He's free.
I'm not sure he's free to do that. The electoral act requires him.
I have a point I'm making, but just because he cannot remember whether he attended primary or secondary, or the name of the primary and secondary school, even though he worked for Mobile, it still doesn't mean that you don't have a choice. But even if you have a choice, does not mean your choice will win. But you have a choice, and you have to stand by your choice. It's a democracy, so your choice doesn't mean that everybody's choice will be your choice. You win or you lose, but you get the government that you deserve. If everybody votes Tinubu, a man who today remembers his age, tomorrow he doesn't remember his age, tomorrow he attended Chicago University or whatever, well, then don't come and start crying tomorrow that Nigeria is this or that, you know. But we all know, because if you cannot get the bare basic minimum right, then I will laugh at you when you come tomorrow and start telling me all manner of things. Or you go vote for the person who was head of customs, and now I cannot remember which name he goes by. I'm like, how did you, that security threat, how did you get to the head of customs and then we don't know what name you go by?
He wasn't head of customs. He wasn't, if you are referring to the same person.
He got to the top of customs. He got to the top of customs.
Well, close to the top.
Well, but he was at the top. He got to what we call Oga at the top. So he made money from there or everything, but he was at the top echelon of customs. And now there's a question mark about what name or what is not your name. And I'm like, all these things, it's like a comedy sketch. You know, if it's a comedy series, then it will make sense. But however, if that's what somebody chooses to go by and say that he meets my requirement for what a president should be, fine, go with it. Go with it, because you have more than one candidate. So you can't say, I don't have a choice. You have choices. So vote for that. If that's what you want, then vote for that. But if tomorrow he starts delivering with a different name, then don't come and cry and say, oh, yeah, all politicians are the same. Not all politicians are not the same, but you have a choice and you chose the one that cannot tell you his primary school, or the one who cannot tell you what name he is, or tomorrow is a different character, you know, because the people who meet the criteria, the standards that some of you set for yourselves, they are there, but you won't go with them, because you will now come out with a criteria all of a sudden that he didn't that, I don't know, he didn't write jump good enough for me, he didn't, okay, so go with the criteria that you set.
All right, thank you very much. Midday, can we get you? We have just 3 minutes to go.
Midday. Am I on?
Yes, you are on.
Hello. Oh, okay. Thank you.
You are on.
Yeah, I will just come quickly. I was having a discussion with a client of mine at the time, and we were discussing like, okay, the problem, Nigerian problem, where does it stem from? Where does it come from? Who do we blame? Is it our leaders, or is it the populace? So we're having this back and forth, and he would say we should blame we that they ruled, and I was saying we should blame our leaders. But bottom line, we're both oscillating between like the leaders they didn't fall from heaven or something. I mean, we raised them, we groomed them, we actually urged them on to do some of the things that they do. So we ended that discussion. I was having another discussion at the time with some folks, and we were talking about, we discussed the way at times when you go on with this Nigerian story and the heels and everything, you get so tiring. And we got to a point whereby we did not ask that, is it possible that at any time we can be lucky, we can have a breakthrough whereby we have, eat good in Nigeria? He said, it's not possible. Like, Awolowo even said at the time that even when he was like in the 70s, then he was in the 70s, was getting to his, it was in 84 there now, that he was invited to a conference and he said, no need to come. We are evil people. We will see good things and leave it, then we'll follow the evil. So at that time, I told him that I don't see a possibility of we having a good leader that will, having it good in Nigeria. Then, and I said, except probably we have this leader that will come. That's the only way this country can reset, that would not put his interest first, that will be ready to lay his life for this country, that will put Nigeria first before him and his cronies or people with him in the government. A leader that would lead by example, a leader that would, teach us how to be patient, take our turns, and not, prioritize money, because everything in Nigeria is just money, money, money. Before you mention two statements, if it's not money, they don't want to listen. Like our morals,
Sorry, I'll have to cut you. We have just less than a minute. If we can take, quickly. I think the Ikeola, if I get it right, can you quickly make your point? And we have, is it Paul, so that we can wrap up. Sorry, we're running out of time.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I actually came in to see if I could speak to King Charly Boy, but he unfortunately left us before we could ask him anything. Yeah. But the question is, Tinubu's running mate. What do we think of it? Apart from the fact that Tinubu is supposedly a very corrupt person, as we know him to be, if let's imagine we were an ordinary citizen in Nigeria living as a Christian in Benue. Let's imagine we were in a church where a priest in Kaduna was buried just a week ago. Let's imagine that we saw the cruelty that was dealt Deborah just for trying to be as expressive as we are today on WhatsApp, and she was burnt alive. Let's imagine that we had a relative in Owo massacre, being claimed that it was done by some terrorists. And this man went and picked someone who is also supposedly a terrorist. It just shows that they don't really care. That's the
All
message.
right, thank you. Thank you. Your message is well taken. Paul, can we have you as the last contributor? We are way over time.
Yeah, talking about leadership and the way some of these our politicians do things. It's so absurd, and it's so shocking to very many of us living in the West, the way they do things. And I just hope we'll use this platform more to talk to our people back home, to take themselves out of their comfort zone, doing things more of a religious way, tribal way, and the way they believe this big man that he has already won. A good percentage of us just accept defeat before the battle even starts. I believe this is the real change, and it's time for us to believe in it and keep using this platform, another platform, to sensitize more people to know their rights, and then they can ask for their rights, and understand for politicians to come as at this time to give you money, which means your vote truly counts. That's why they can come, because after now you won't even see them again. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate your time and your participation. It's unfortunate Charly Boy had some internet challenge and he couldn't stay through the program. We'll try and see if we can get him back on another date. Thank you again, and we look forward to continuing this conversation next week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and the tag either Dr. Damages or with the tag 90 Minutes Africa. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye, and see you next week.
Yeah.